Okay, fourth graders, let's go ahead and get started with our math lesson today. As you can see, today we're combining two lessons, Eureka Math Module 5, Lesson 30 and 31. And both of these lessons are about adding mixed numbers and fractions. Really quickly at your table group, I want you to explain the difference between a mixed number and a fraction. Go. Just to remind ourselves, a mixed number has two parts. It has a whole number part and a fraction part. A fraction is just a fraction, but a fraction and a mixed number actually could have the same value. For example, 3/2 is a fraction, isn't it? Does it have the same value as the mixed number 1.5? Yes. So today we're going to be adding fractions and mixed numbers, both, and keep in mind that they both have the same, they could have the same value or not. Okay? Here we want to add 2 3/8 plus 3/8. So again, you can see for our learning goal, we are adding a mixed number and a fraction. Okay? Now, let's say this using word form. We have 2 1s, 3/8, 2 1s and 3/8, right? And then we want to add another 3/8, right? So this is our mixed number. This was our fraction. How many kinds of units do we have here? Show me with your fingers. Just like our problem of the day, we have 2 units. We have 1s and we have 8ths. So we can first start by adding our like units. If I have 3/8 plus 3 more 8s, how many 8s do I have? 6 8s. How many 1s do I have altogether? Everyone? 2. Do I have to add anything to it? So our answer then is 2 1s and 6 8s. And you write that as a mixed number like this, 2 and 6 8s. Okay, so one way is you can add mixed numbers and fractions is look at the types of units that you have and add the like units. Let's try another example. Okay, here it's a little bit different. We have, hold on one sec. Let's take a look at this first problem. We have 4 4/5 plus something will equal 5. For this one, let's think of a number line. Here I have 4, and here I have 5. And I've split it into fifths, right? And I'm starting at 4 4/5, which is right here. How much do I have to add to get to 5? Everyone? Everyone? 1/5. So what's missing in the blank there? 1/5. Okay, this is kind of like what we were talking about yesterday with rounding. We have to think about how far one number is away from the next whole. Okay, a number line can really help us with that. Our next example, it's the same thing. It's just the order is switched a little bit, right? We have 6 and we have 5 1/8. We're trying to add something to 5 1/8 to make it 6. So we already have 5. So we know that we need our fraction part to equal what? We need our fraction part to equal 6. If my whole number part is 5, I need to add something to 5 to make it equal 6. 5 plus what will equal 6? Everyone? So that means I need my fraction part to equal 1. Just like over here, I had my whole number part was 4, and then my fraction part, 4/5 plus 1/5 equals 1. So that 4 plus 1 will equal 5. Right? I'm trying to find out how much I have to add to the fractions to make that 1. What do I have to add to 1/8 to make it 1? Everyone?
7/8.
So what do I have to add to 5 1/8 to make it 6? Everyone? 7/8. We're basically thinking about a number line. Here we have 5, and here we have 6, and I'm going to split it into 8ths. And we're starting at 5 1/8, and I'm asking how much do I have to add to get to 6? Well, if we count it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8ths. Make sense? Draw a number line right now to prove it. Now, this example is kind of like our first example. Let's write out how many kinds of units we have. We have 5 1s. Do you guys agree that 5 plus 2/4, by the way, is 5 plus 2/4? Right? Do you guys agree? So this problem, 5 2/4, is the same as 5 plus 2/4 and then plus 3/4. Use a number bond to write it out like that. Now, how many kinds of units do we have? What are the units for the 5? This is 5 what? 1s. Good. So our units there are 1s. What kind of units do we have for 2/4? 4ths. What kind of units do we have for 3/4? So how many kinds of units do we have? 2. Let's add the like units. If I have 2/4 plus 3/4, what do I get? I get 5/4. Good. And if I have 5 ones and I don't add anything to it, what do I have? 5. So this is the same as 5 plus 5/4. Well, what do we know about 5/4? It's the same as 1 plus 1/4. So now our like units are the 5 and the 1, right? So what's 5 plus 1? 6. And what's our fraction part left over? So what's the answer? 6 and 1/4. We can write it as a mixed number like that. Okay, so here, if we want to add like units, we can see that we have ones. We have 2 ones plus 1 1. When I add that up, how many ones do I have? How many ones do I have? 3 ones. Then I have eighths. I have 1/8 plus 5/8. Let me add the like units. If I have 1/8 and I add 5 more eighths, how many eighths do I have? 6/8. So my answer is 3 plus 6/8. How do I write that as a mixed number? 3 and 6/8. When we say a mixed number using word form, we just say the whole number part, 3, and then we say and then we say the fraction part, 6/8. So everyone, how do we say this mixed number using word form? 3 and 6/8. Very good. Again, how many kinds of units do we have? 2. We have ones, right? And we have eighths. So let's add the eighths first. If I have 5/8 plus 5/8, how many eighths do I have? 10/8. Good. Let's add the ones. I have 5 ones plus 6 ones. How many ones do I have? 11. So here, for my answer, I have 11 plus 10/8. But what do we know about 10/8? That's the same as 8/8 plus what? 2/8. 8/8 is the same as 1, isn't it? So instead of writing 8/8, I could write 1. So now, how many kinds of units do I have? 2. I still have ones, right? And eighths. So how many ones do I have altogether? Everyone? And what's my eighths? How many eighths do I have altogether? So what's my final answer? 12 and 2/8. Very good.